Hi, everybody. Welcome to Awaken to Positive Power, where beautiful Darcy Mata
and gorgeous Jemima Godsall.
we are here to talk to you regarding depression, mental health awareness, and suicide prevention topics. Suicide prevention through awareness, let's just say that much.
Yeah.
Just before we get started, there is a 1-800 number down below. And if you know of anyone or yourself needs any help, any guidance, any assistance, please reach out to those numbers. We come to you here as friends. We are talking just off the cuff every week. Sometimes we have guests to talk from our own experience. Sometimes we have no idea, but it just flows. But we just wanted, our idea is to make sure you know that you are never alone. Like, It's amazing how when Darcy and I talk, like, so much comes out. We think, oh my God, that's amazing. And sometimes I get feedback from people who just go, thank you, or like, spot on, or I don't know. It's amazing to feel like we all go through the same sort of thing.
Right.
Our experiences may be different, but the emotional reaction can be just as big and the same, or small and the same, or whatever it may be. Anyway, Dustin and I were just having a conversation about environments that I'm living in, a sort of an environment right now where it's really quite negative. And I was watching The Secret and how it brings about, you bring about what you think about type thing. For the millionth time I was watching The Secret, by the way. Plug to The Secret, I can, because it's like from the 90s now, 2000,
yeah,
early 2000s, yeah. It's about manifestation, if you haven't seen it, those younger ones. Yeah, it's like the sort of introduction into the Western world's magic of manifestation, which now it's like everybody knows about it. But The Secret is, what you think about, you bring about. And I'm living in a situation where it's a truck stop with aggressive sort of energy, trucky energy, dare I say that, but I have a really big advantage to it on one end. So that's why I remain here. But there's a negative energy that I wake up to every morning, like 5:30, this guy comes in and just swears on the phone. Beep this, beep this. At 5:30 in the morning, I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I was just saying to Das, it's hard for me to breathe. It's hard for me to get up. It's hard for me to get into my space where I do my beautiful morning rituals. And it's just exhausting. And I was thinking, like, how awful it must be to be in that headspace, but how much it's really difficult to separate myself from it when firstly it's that early in the morning and me not get a bite back, but also just to get not let it affect me for the whole day. Yeah. Anyway, I did say it was hard for me to breathe, and Das said, we should record this. So here we are. What were you going to say in response to that, Das?
Well, I was going to say, when you said hard for me to breathe, right? So, body, mind, and spirit. So I kind of have a little personal conflict with saying just flat out what you think about, you bring about.
Right.
Because I don't necessarily believe that that's, a sweeping truth.
Yeah.
I do know that what you focus on, you energize and it amplifies, right? And what you tolerate by lack of boundaries, then you end up focusing on and it amplifies. What do I mean by tolerate? So if you're in an abusive environment, then to a certain point you're tolerating it, or it's bombarding you, and there you stay being bombarded.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that you necessarily created that environment, but you certainly are allowing yourself to remain there.
Yeah, I hear.
Okay.
Can I just pause this for 1 second?
Sure.
I'll be back in 1 second. Thank you. Excuse me. Yes.
So to say that, when people say, well, you created this, you created your situation, then it begins to make you feel bad about yourself, why do I keep creating these terrible situations? I would just like to say terrible situations exist. And then by either our lack of boundaries or personal self-love, or our ability to feel that we can change things or do better, or just say no, we somehow allow ourselves to stay in an environment that's not the healthiest for us. And yeah, we do payoffs, right? So right now, yeah, right now, this is a better choice than XYZ.
Yeah.
So now,
yes, that's where, how have I invited that? If this is a huge bonus on one end, the payoff is really difficult, but I never, I don't know, like it's like, I guess I kind of did ask. No, I mean, I can change it instantly, but I'm not for the payoff. But I don't think I ever would have invited this in if it wasn't for the payoff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard.
I don't feel like you invited this in. I would say that you have choices and you chose the beautiful part of it and chose to ignore what's difficult. I mean, this is what happens in relationships often. Is that we say, I see the person's essence, I see their beauty, I see their potential, I see the possibility of that shining soul. Right now, it's buried under, 10 pounds of garbage of alcoholism or behavior patterns that are not good, but I'm willing to stay in there because I believe in the what I think is underneath it all. And at a certain point, we have to say, well, I have to turn that view around onto myself or onto ourselves and say, okay, where's your, shining soul? Where is your potential? Where is your strength? Where is your possibilities? And can you put all of your focus on that instead? So now the difference between you doing that right now, because you're in a nice, healthy relationship, is that there's an end goal. Yes, you're not going to be there long.
Yeah. Before this end goal was happening, it was devastating to me. I mean, I'm sure you noticed an attitude change, an energy change in me.
Yeah.
Because there is an end goal, but it's like I was so depressed. I kept saying I've got to go, but then I was not in a place to be able to go because I hadn't prepared myself for this. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
And that's all about energizing the self through self-love, belief in the self. What can I do to get myself out of here? What are my options? Where can I go? And you did, Jemima. You did pull yourself out of there. You did. You traveled to Colorado. You went different places. You contacted people. And along the way, you managed to find this beautiful soul to travel with you. And so now there's your two beautiful souls. If you're back in this environment, in this moment, you want to look at this as an opportunity to walk your talk for a certain amount of time. Just take this as an opportunity, and I can give you a couple tools by the end of our conversation on how to deal with that.
Yeah, please.
Right. Yeah, we'll look at that. So you said something interesting about I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go back to body, mind, and spirit. So, when we have illnesses like asthma, COPD, allergies, and even COVID, what we're dealing with is the lungs and the ability to take in our fundamental support from the earth and give it back, right? Feeling that we have a right to exist in the world, that what we take in, we can put back out again. Right? That we can, with a cough, just release the negativity, and inhale and allow ourselves to take in that healthy, good energy. So it's really profound to look at the concept of whether you feel you can breathe or not, because you have a right to be where you are.
Yeah.
Right? You have a right to own your space.
Yeah.
And to be present and to allow it to come in, right? And feed your body with the prana, the good, healthy chi, the energy, life force of breath, and to breathe out that negativity gently and easily so that you don't have to manifest things like COVID or asthma or COPD or any of these lung illnesses that are affecting us, body, mind, and spirit, right? So I just wanted to point that out at you. Here is an opportunity for you to walk your talk, because you know you're not going to be there very long.
Mhm.
And a lot of times when I listen to people who are so negative or they walk by me, I just think to myself, oh my God, that soul in that person is suffering.
Mhm. Yeah.
Boy, and I don't want to get involved in their suffering. I just want to acknowledge it. You know, if you hear that person swearing and cussing on the phone, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and they're heading off to breakfast, and you think of all the churning going on inside of that body, and I think, wow, that soul of that person is just suffering so intensely. You know, the stomach is the processor. So here they are moving towards breakfast with all their, you know, negativity out front, right? And then they're probably going to swill down some coffee.
Yeah, and this person's like 400 pounds too.
Oh, sure, because the stomach is the processor of life. And so you look at this person and go, wow, they're not processing.
No,
They're
God.
not processing their feelings, not processing their right to be in the world. You know, there's so much that soul is suffering with. So you don't have to take that on. You did not manifest that person.
No,
You certainly manifested how you respond to that person.
Mm-hmm.
How you
sorry, I think
yeah.
There is a parallel with the energy from my ordeal that happened beginning of my transformation, let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Which sort of triggers me to that uncomfortable place of
Sure.
The fear of that person, but also how I got through the issue, the stalking and all that stuff in California, was to actually, I thought, how am I ever going to stop? How am I ever going to get over this? And I forgave that person, that man, because I thought, how sad is your life? Like, how damaged are you? What you were saying. And the energy here is just, I guess it's loaded because, and I'm confused as to why the lesson is being brought back again, as into how to handle. Is it a test of how far I've come, or is it just to see, is it a joke from the universe? You know what I mean? Like, am I being slapped going?
I think it's all a big joke, but we won't go there right now.
Yeah, well, you know, you can take it that way, but you know, it's just these gentlemen who are popping in my life right now, except for my love, who even last week's talk about the guy at the gym, you know, like, what is this about? Like, why is it I'm being slapped in the face? Which it feels like it, because it's still quite a new healing thing that I'm going through, quite a new experience that I'm healing from. You know, what is this? And I feel bad too, because it's a masculine thing, it's a man thing, and I don't want it to be just it's like it's such gender issue with it too, and it's like really quite. Can you do you have any ideas there, Das, of like what the lesson or what I'm trying to?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I mean, there's a whole lot. I know, it's crazy, but you're unpacking a lot. You're unpacking your victim self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very important not to look at the world from the eyes of a victim.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, someone else's aggression, negativity, you are not the target.
Mm-hmm.
So don't allow yourself to become the target by being afraid and thinking you are the target. You are not the target.
Okay,
that person's aggression and negativity is theirs. Let them have it. Let them keep it. You know, you don't need to take it on. You're not going to heal them. You're not going to solve their problem for them, which means you're not going to engage with them. They're negative. They're suffering. And God bless them. Hopefully, they will find their own revelation. Yeah. So you want to step away from your victim self. And I think this is really important, because when you've been a victim for a long time, and as a drug user, mm-hmm. you live in victim world for a long time, sure, you know, and then once you started to get out of your drug world, then you were met with violence, and you were met with, you know, a fear of death, and to find your own personal strength, took a lot of effort on your part. You always have to remember how strong and resilient you are. You are so resilient. So right now you're being asked to really not allow yourself to slip back into victim perspective. You are not the target. You are not a victim. And you're being asked to change your response. Just change your response. When you feel yourself starting to engage, or when you feel yourself getting sucked into somebody else's energy, that's a moment for you to stop and redirect yourself. You're the one in charge of you. They are not in charge of you.
Yeah.
So if you're, let's say you're grocery shopping and you go down an aisle to get cereal or tea or something, whatever, and there's a couple arguing and you want to get past them, you say, excuse me, and then they start yelling at you. Oh, what do you think you're doing here? And then you come through, and all of a sudden you're like in the middle of somebody's thing. You could take a victim perspective and say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get through there, which is engagement. Yeah. I have nothing to do with your situation. I'm really sorry you're having a hard time. I just really want to grab that. And then they're going to keep going at you. And then before you know, it becomes a thing. And then you're crying and you walk away. Why do I bring these people in my life? Not at all. You walk down the aisle, you see somebody's arguing, you feel that negativity, you sense it. I suggest you just turn around and go the other way. Turn around, go the other way, come back to that aisle later.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel it's dangerous, you could alert a store person, let them deal with it.
Of course, yeah.
Right. Or if it's just a little thing, just turn around and walk the other way. I remember I was power walking through San Francisco, New York, power walking through New York, had to get somewhere real quick. And there was this couple walking in front of me, and they were taking up the whole sidewalk. And so I was just power walking. And so I kind of went around her, and she turns and she screams at me. Oh, you think you're sneaking up on people? You're going to sneak up on people? How about I sneak up? I mean, she was just like out of her mind. And I'm sitting there going, oops, I didn't see that. I didn't pay it. I should have gone around across the street. I just wasn't paying attention. I was in my own thing. And I didn't turn around and say sorry. I didn't engage her. I just kept power walking, hoping, covering myself in golden light so she wouldn't shoot me in the back. Okay, I'm just like, whoa. Okay.
Run. Yeah.
Right. So this is, your opportunity to assess your responses. Yeah. Assess your response.
It's so true, isn't it? Because I did so much healing during COVID alone. And so now I'm being tested to put that healing like with people, with those strange folks out there, it's so it's really quite challenging. Even like within my relationship, I come across things and I think, oh yeah. And then I go, what the hell? I react like I have done in the past. And I'm like, holy shit, I haven't actually, pardon my language, I haven't actually put that new way of
responding,
yeah, thank you, into practice. And it's amazing because it's so different in your head, and then you think, oh yeah, woohoo, and then you go out and you go, holy mackerel, no, it's a lot not harder, it's just a lot more different work.
But that's the whole point of our lessons and our evolution, is we got to use it with humanity.
Yeah.
We can't do it in isolation. That's what was so hard about COVID and being in isolation is, well, we didn't have anyone to connect with for better or worse, for good or bad. We were just like, totally removed, and people really started to feel that pull off of their humanity. So when you are learning and practicing, you have to practice with people.
Yeah.
You have to practice by surrounding yourself with people. I mean, it's easy to be spiritual, in a church or a mosque or an ashram, but try to be spiritual walking down the street in a big, huge city. Right? That's the trick. I mean, that's the whole difficulty. And it's all about our response. It really is. And it took me a long time to realize I don't have to save everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely, if I yell at that guy who is walking with his phone and say, hey, you know, I'm standing here and you're walking past me and spitting all over me or whatever the hell he's doing, right? You know, what's really going to happen?
Yeah.
Is he going to stop? No,
No.
he's not going to stop. It's just going to escalate more and more and more. And then this is what they're talking about. What you focus on then magnifies itself. It becomes bigger. Because if you did engage with him, you're going to get upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're going to get upset. And what they're really looking for is engagement.
Engagement, yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing watching The Secret this time around, which I haven't watched it for a few years, was I got to actually see my role of my California drama. Like how much, aside from the drugs, but how much I was inviting it in because I was thinking of it all the time and I was engaging with it all the time because I was so scared. I was so scared that, what a nice victim role, bring it on, you know. But it was amazing to think, oh yeah, like I can see why it was continued because I was just unconsciously inviting it in, and I was so fragile. And what a great playground for this devil, you know what I mean? Like great easy work, easy prey. But how powerful it was to think, oh my gosh, if I wasn't in such a vulnerable stage on drugs and in such a, you know, they weren't such horrible people, that I wouldn't have engaged at all. You know, it would have been much easier to sort of.
Sure. You would have had much more rational self-empowerment going on. I mean, that's the whole big problem about drugs and alcohol. It's like we have no filter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we have no filter psychically. You're so lucky you didn't like invite some entity to come on in too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes when you look at some of the people that are really drugged out, you can see that they're not present. They're not even in there anymore. And
you can see those ones that have entities following them. Like, you know, you can see the psychosis is beyond the three-dimensional world. It's like it's out and it's gone. They're hooked by some dark demon, you know, like you can see it. It's like, oof, scary, poor loves, you know.
Yeah, I think I would, if I were you, I would start changing that expression, inviting it in.
Okay.
Right. I would just start to say, go back to healing and dealing. I'm dealing with this and healing from it. I'm changing my response.
Changing my response. Okay. Yep.
I'm dealing with it so I can heal from it. I'm changing my response. And anytime you hear yourself, I invited that in, just say, oh, clear. Let me rephrase. So
my love and I have, thanks to you, I'm dealing with it to heal from it all around.
Oh, okay.
We both have it. I've got it written on his table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. So now I'm changing my response. Yeah, I'm changing my response. I like that. It's empowering. It's much more empowering.
Yeah, because when you say inviting it in, doesn't it make you feel kind of dumb or like, what did I do that for?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm a stupid one. You know, like that's why I was confused too about like this whole energy environment here. Like, you know, I really didn't invite it in. I'm like confused about what it hurt. You know, it makes much more.
I mean, and also you did this beautiful thing. I mean, you found this gem of a person in this like really scary, nasty environment. And wow, that's like, you know, somebody goes around with one of those metal detectors and suddenly like, wow, look what I found, right? Beep, 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 beep. Wow. So I mean, there's a lot of, you know, great stuff about what you have found and why you're there for the moment. So definitely. Now you can kind of step up your work a little bit and say, I got to change my response. I got to change my response and really cover your living quarters and your golden light, protected light. Do that daily. You know, my friend also has this great expression I really love. When somebody gives her some kind of negative energy, she goes, I reject that suggestion.
Okay, cool.
I reject that suggestion. So if you feel like people are, you know, dumping on you, whew, I reject that suggestion. I don't need to take that on.
Mm.
And it's a very,
and sorry, I was just thinking about the guy. Like, is it worth trying to put a light around him as well? Like with the guy at the gym, is it worth trying to put a light around him? And because I know he's a good guy somewhere. Like like when he met me, I was like going, oh my God, just the really, really hurt child.
yeah.
And I remember like he was just silly things he was saying. And then like when he walked away, I said to Chris, like, what the none of it made sense. I was going, I don't think he even hurt. He was nervous. Like I went to do an arm wrestle with him. He goes, oh, I don't hit women. And we're like, huh? What are you talking about? I want to like do a childish arm wrestle. And so that made me sort of go, oh my God. But you know, I feel sorry for him. But then I think, is that letting him in too much for feeling that I want to give him a hug? You know, do you know what I mean? Like, am I this time I am going to say, am I inviting that energy into me, or should I just put him from a distance anyway? Do you know what I mean? Because he's not going to be my friend. I don't want to. I'm not going to have him in my life. So I'm you know, what do you say to that?
I don't know. I think, you know, first of all, you shield yourself. You always take care of yourself, right? Take care of yourself first. So shield yourself first. And then if you have time later to send him some loving, healing energy, send it remotely. You know, yeah, you know, because you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they've experienced. You don't know anything about that person. How and where they will evolve is not up to you. What is up to you is how and where you will evolve. So take care of yourself first. Cover yourself, do your own thing. And then when you have that extra moment, send some loving, healing energy towards that person remotely. And I do feel it does help. It's like the words we put out in the world do have a ripple effect. And so if we send loving, healing words into the world, the concept of prayer, right? That has that beautiful vibration of loving energy as opposed to cussing everywhere.
How would you handle if you were woken up at 5:30 with the fu like really violently every morning, relatively, not every morning. Actually, no, pretty much every morning. Like how would you remain in your, like, because it is so constant, it's not like a one-off thing. How would you create that as part of, especially as a way to wake up, as part of your morning ritual per se? I don't know. Like,
yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I was teaching a meditation class in Los Angeles, and I really liked this approach that I learned from Shinzen Young, which we're going to practice today.
Okay, good.
And so and it's for dealing with stuff like that. And this lady says to me, okay, I live in the back of the apartment building. And I said, okay. And not every morning, every other morning, or whenever the trash morning is, this big freaking trash truck at 5 o'clock in the morning comes down the little alleyway, goes all the goes all the way to the back where her apartment is. Crash, bang, you know, it's picking up all the trash. That's what she wakes up to. And then she says the really fun part is when it backs out. Beep, 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 beep. She gets this horrific wake up every morning. And she says it wakes her up so angry. She said she would wake up angry and go, why do they have to do this at 5 o'clock in the morning? Oh my God, do they care about people? Do they think that everybody sleeps until 5 o'clock in the morning? She would get herself all riled up, right? And then, now I have to go to work and I feel like, and that would be her day. She would set herself off. And so we practice this meditation. I'm going to practice with you. And the profound thing is that you allow it and you observe it and you sense it as it moves and it changes. And sound is just sound. Sound is just sound. And then eventually it goes and you listen to it as it goes. And you pay attention to your feelings, and your feelings are simply emotions, feelings, sound, feeling, thought. What are my thoughts right now? And so you start to observe your reactions to it. And eventually the trash truck goes, and you're lying there in this peaceful meditation. She was meditating on the sound of the trash, or the experience of the trash truck. And then eventually it goes, and guess what you have? Gone. You have a moment of gone, of nothingness, of emptiness. It's just you in that moment. And then you get to experience yourself in that moment. And so then you have this choice of either, oh, I have another 15 minutes. Do I want to go back to sleep, or I want to lie here and meditate? Or I just want to experience, or do I want to get up a little earlier today? You know, so she began to change her experience through her awareness and her mindfulness. And so if the guy comes by every day and it wakes you up.
Yeah, he does leave. He does leave. So
he does leave, right? He leaves. So you can hear it approaching, and it's just sound. And then on top of that is your thoughts. Sound, your thoughts, and your feelings. Sound, thought, feeling, thought, sound, thought, however it's working. Physical sensations, touch. Maybe you're tense, touch, feeling, thought, sound, sensations, gone. And there you are. And the moment moves past you. So look at the difference between, right, you know, your engagement or your experience.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like the gone moment too, like the
gone. Yeah,
you're in the moment by yourself with that moment in time, like that experience.
Yeah. You're always in the moment with yourself, no matter what the experience is, because you are analyzing everything experientially, physically, sensorially, and you know about senses, right?
Yeah.
So anything that comes into your field comes into you sensorially, comes into you through sight. Is that danger? What's my perception? What am I hearing, smelling, sensing? And then your thought process goes, and your feelings go with your thought process. Oh, is this difficult? Is this dangerous? Is this bad? Is this good? Is it... So it's up to you to slow it down by observing. Slow it down by observing, and then you can start to slow down your response.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try it tomorrow. No, I'll try it on Monday. I've got the weekend of law. Yay. Can we do that meditation, or the meditation you want?
Yeah, we can practice this one. It was so great because I watched this woman really evolve with it. And then she said one day the trash truck came and she got excited. She said, oh, I get to practice. And then, you know, so she's like, then she noticed her emotional reaction was excitement, right? And then she started laughing at herself.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wow, my response has changed 100%, you know? And some days it still irritated her, of course, but she could observe the irritation or the annoyance as opposed to engage it and then amplify it.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting, right? And I have to practice this a lot because I have a lot of irritation. So yeah, it takes practice. And you know, there's always those moments where you go,
yeah, of course.
And then you can say, okay, I have a choice right now. So I have to write notes down to myself and say, what's your choice right now?
Okay.
You know, so that's a sticker I have at work. I put up at work for myself. What's your choice right now? And I just put that places.
Okay, I can practice that with him. Take some pressure off.
It takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Yeah. And then now put that together with what you know from your movie, The Secret.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Okay.
Right, starts going with that.
Okay,
Do you want to practice? I can watch. I'm watching you
process.
Thinking. Yeah, I'm watching you go. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm trying to imagine doing that. I think, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be practicing it, but I also wish he was here in a way so I could put it to live practice.
All right. Crazy? Well, look, you want to practice right now? Yeah, let's practice right now. Let me just set you up.
Oh, you gonna swear and stuff? Sorry, YouTube. No. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm gonna actually. Gosh, I wish I had a piece of paper. So, do you have a piece of paper in front of you?
Yes, I do.
And a pen?
Yes, okay. I do.
All right. So I'm going to give you these words, and this is the way I learned it from this meditation teacher named Shinzen Young. Shinzenyoung. You can look up Shinzen Young. He's a wonderful meditation teacher. All right, so we're going to minimize our concept of the world around us into our basic elements. So we're going to have the idea of noises, things going on, people talking, trucks, airplanes, dogs, cats, whatever, breathing, tea kettle whistles, everything is sound. It's just the word sound. So write down the word sound. Anything you hear is sound.
Am I writing what I'm hearing?
Nope, just write down the word sound. That anything that you hear, and that's to remind yourself what you're working with. So you're just going to use the word sound. So no matter what you hear, what comes in your sense of hearing, you're going to label it simply as sound. You're going to label it consciously in your mind as sound. So if a truck rolls by right now, we would label it sound. If a person starts yelling outside, we label it sound. If two people are talking, sound. Tea kettle whistles, sound. The AC blowing, sound. So it's all sound. Everything's just sound. We're just distilling it down to what it is sound. Okay. The next thing I want you to think about is any kind of physical sensation is touch. So this can be a body ache, an itch, a twinge, a tweak. You might notice the temperature of the room on your skin. You might notice your hair, your jewelry, your clothing, what you're sitting next to, anything. You might notice your stomach gurgling. You might notice yourself breathing, your tongue in your mouth. Your awareness is going to travel. And whenever your awareness travels back to your body and you notice something physical, it's just touch. You're going to just label it as touch. Okay. So simply touch. So now we have sound and touch. That's all we've got, sound and touch. All right. The next thing that we're going to distill down is our thought process. So memories, ideas, concerns, those are all just thoughts. Whatever comes into your mind is a thought. So now we have sound, touch, and thought, right? We're just distilling that way down. Sometimes when you close your eyes in meditation, you might see lights, you might see light and dark, you might see visions, right? Things flash in front of your eyes, sort of, memories, things come in visually sometimes. And that's all just sight. Just sight.
Sight, okay.
Right. So you've got sight. So I'm just giving you the labels first. These are our labels.
Yep.
You also might find your emotions coming up through your body, right? A thought comes up, a feeling can come up with it, right? Maybe you have a difficulty of a pain inside your body, a touch inside your body, and that might elicit a thought, which elicits a feeling, right? Like, oh, dang, there's that shoulder again. Oh, man, do I have to go back to the chiropractor, right? That's a feeling as well as a thought and a touch, right? Mm-hmm. So any kind of emotional response is feeling. That's what you're going to label it, feeling. Doesn't matter if it's happy, sad, scared, angry, frustrated, or bored. It's a feeling. Those are your feelings: happy, sad, scared, frustrated, bored, right? Feeling. Those are feelings. So that you're going to label it just as feeling. And then, so we have touch, sound, thought, sight, and feeling. Now, taste is interesting. Taste is touch, right?
How do you mean taste is touch? Oh, because you're tasting something.
Yeah, it's touch. It's affecting your mouth, right? Smell. Sometimes it's both sound and touch. Because we sniff, we can hear it. The scent touches our body. And then oftentimes we'll have a feeling that registers it.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that interesting? Like you smell cinnamon cooking, somebody's cooking something sweet. You sniff, you hear yourself sniff. You sense it in your body, it's touch. Maybe it makes you salivate. Maybe it brings back a memory, thought, and a feeling that goes with it. So you're distilling down your experience into these labels, just bringing everything down into this moment, into these labels. Now, the interesting thing is, before we start to practice, is the consciousness awareness automatically, without us doing it, much like the heart beating, just rotates itself through its sensorial awareness continuously. Without us pushing it or doing it, your awareness is always rotating through these elements, always rotating. A car drives by, there's a shadow crosses your face, right? That's sight, right? Then the sound comes along with it, that's sound. The thought goes, who was that? The feeling, who was that? Who is that, right? So we're consciously rotating our awareness unconsciously.
Yeah.
Just like your heart beating. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sit in meditation and we're going to practice being an actual participant in the mind's rotation of awareness. Okay, and this is how we will eventually achieve emotional intelligence.
Huh?
What? Yeah, because when that guy walks by screaming on his phone, you will not get engaged with it. Okay. And that is emotional intelligence, because you then made a choice. So when my coworker or my family member annoys me, I can observe my response. That slows it down. And then I can practice emotional intelligence by choosing to respond or not. Right? Okay.
Darcy, we have about 10 minutes, just FYI. So.
Okay. All right. You know, this does take, I mean, when I learned it, he did it in little sections over a whole weekend, and I'm going to give it to you in 10 minutes. That's why I wanted to set you up.
Take advantage of this, people. Okay, my love.
Okay, here we go. So sit straight up. Put your feet flat on the floor. We want you to stay conscious. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold for a beat. And exhale through your mouth. Long and slow. And now let your body just breathe. Relax your shoulders. That's right. And again, take a deep breath in through your nose. And hold for a beat. And exhale through your mouth. long and slow. And just breathe easy. Sensing your body relaxing. And one more time, breathe in through the nose, really full, and hold for a beat. Holding. And exhale through the mouth, long and slow. And then breathing easy, just easy and effortlessly. Allowing your body to do what it does, which is breathe. The heart beats. The body breathes. And for just a moment, I want you to allow yourself to observe your body with the word touch. Any sensation you feel physically, you're just going to label that sensation as touch. So if you have an itch or a tickle, don't itch it or tickle it. Just label it and observe it. Itch or a tickle. If you have any physical discomfort, just label it touch. You might notice your clothes on your body, that's scratchy, what's soft, how you're sitting. So for a moment, I'm going to let you do it in silence. Allow your mind to simply rotate through your body, and whatever you physically notice, simply label it as touch. And that's for inside as well as outside your body. If your body moves or sways, that's touch. If your tongue moves, it's touch. If you feel your body expanding with breath, is touch. And you just simply label touch. You might notice temperature. That's touch. And now why don't you add sound to that? Any sound that comes into your awareness is simply sound. Anything physical that comes into your awareness is touch. And let yourself just alternate as your awareness alternates, touch and sound. Even quiet is sound. And as you're alternating between touch and sound, you may have a thought or a memory or an idea, and it's all thought. So as your mouth moves, it's touch. As your breath goes in, it's touch and sound. As you listen to my voice, it's thought. Touch, thought, sound, sound, touch, thought. Allow yourself to label as your awareness rotates. touch, touch. Notice your body moving, it's touch. Notice your thoughts, thought, sound. And if you have any feelings that come up, any emotions, it's just feeling. It's just feeling. And if your awareness sees something with your eyes closed, lights, dark, images, it's all sight. Sight, touch, thought, sound, touch, thought. Thought, touch, sound, feeling, sight. And you might notice where once was a discomfort that you labeled as touch is now gone. And that's gone. And you might notice where once a car drove by, it's now gone. And that's gone. Where you might have noticed a feeling came up and left is gone. Thought, sound, and you can come back and slowly open your eyes.
I get it.
Make sense?
Yeah, but it's complex too, because it's like how many things a sound can be, feeling, but it just definitely takes you out of, I can see how that would work out of the moment of feeling, ugh! Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're focusing on, yeah, of course you know what I mean. Right. But yeah, that's great. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to practicing it. Is that ironic?
Yeah, I like practicing this a lot with different types of meditation. Have you ever been in a meditation and you couldn't focus?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Drop into this.
Okay, yeah, and I do actually have a class meditation every morning for my rebuild scholarship from 7 a.m. And sometimes some mornings, especially after he's woken me up, I find myself very distracted. So that's great. I'll put it into practice too. Thank you.
Yeah, the more you practice this, the better you can even practice it with your eyes open. You know, when you're in the middle of something, you're dealing with something.
Yep,
you know,
yep.
You're at the doctor's office, sitting there, sight, touch, sound, thought, feeling, and you'll repeat, you know, sometimes I have to repeat. I have a discomfort. I might be going touch, 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 touch in my mind. The idea for meditation is to be single pointed focus, to get rid of the distraction.
Yeah.
And so using your body as your meditation brings you back into your body.
Yep. Right.
All right.
Wow. Guys, full on. I feel really, really like that was awesome.
And that was only a couple of minutes. So try practicing it and then putting it with your other practice. Okay.
Thank you, Darcy. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week. You're amazing, Darcy.
You're amazing, Jemima.
Peace.
Bye.